big fallout after the Oscars. You don't think the Oscars are going to happen and then someone's not going to get in trouble on the Twitter, do you? The Onion tweeted about, I got to get her name right, Quvenzhane Wallis. She was in Beasts of the Southern Wild, and she's the 9-year-old actress. And well, let's put up the tweet at The Onion. Everyone else seems afraid to say it, but that Quvenzhane Wallis is kind of a C word, right? Okay, there it is. Thank God for my phonetics. Kelly, I'm going to start with you on this one because language, comedy, these are things you're very interested in. Your father, George Carlin, is the godfather of both of those things.
Of the C word.
And of all of those 7 or 50 filthy words. The list keeps getting bigger,
it's very
actually.
Long, very long.
Which he would be very upset by. Where should we start with this? Take it away.
Well, first of all, when I saw this today, I thought, this is the living room joke. This isn't the Twitter joke. This is the joke that someone comes up with it in the living room who's very high, who's been doing bong hits all night long and probably a few shots. And they turn around and it's one of my more irreverent comedian friends. And they say it and we all laugh because we all know it's not true. It's not what it's about. It's about Hollywood. It's about, you know, people are impossible. And clearly this girl's not impossible. But this is not something you tweet.
Yeah.
And you know, and I just, it would have been okay if Gilbert Gottfried had tweeted it, because then he would have apologized right away and everything would have been okay.
Yeah, he might have apologized before.
He might have, and then after again.
Yeah.
Now this, and then today people are like bringing my dad's name up with this, and then of course they ask me what would he think, and I don't know. He's dead. You know. I don't know. These days, I just don't know anymore about jokes. It's either too PC or we're too, That's
exactly.
what I have to say.
You ran out of words because you didn't want to offend anybody. Fred, what do you think about this?
You know, it's a reference to child stars, and many of us have worked with them, but very obviously very inappropriate. I think there should be a moratorium on using the C word on anyone who was born this millennium, and she was born in 2003.
Yeah.
I think if you go the 90s and before,
so
it's
anyone,
okay.
90s, prior to that,
I think so.
C word, okay. So this is an age issue, basically, which you seem to be for a lot of people.
Of course, sure, because it's
right.
She's a 9-year-old
because look,
girl.
if everything being equal, if this had been said about Ann Coulter, I'm pretty sure that an apology would have not have been issued.
I would have been like,
yeah, exactly.
Retweet.
All right.
Retweet.
You can only retweet once. I'm pretty.
I would have kept retweeting.
You would have started other Twitter accounts.
I would have been like fake Erin Foley, retweet. Fake Erin Foley too, retweet.
All right, well, Erin Foley.
No, I wouldn't even call her the C. I would never. I mean, that's what it is. It's like, you know, you gotta have maybe like some Twitter filter, like a draft, or like, yeah, you high five your buddy, and then you go, duh, but I'm, you know, not a complete idiot.
Right.
You know, it's so outrageous that, which is alarming too, because The Onion. I mean, who doesn't love The Onion? They've like the smartest. Like, they don't need to do any of that. Like, they're so above that, and they're interesting and smart.
I was tweeting like crazy last night, and it's a snark fest, and it's what you do during these live events. And you know, and I always feel dirty afterwards because I know I've said a few things that I wouldn't normally say, but I felt like I'd been on a cocaine binge afterwards. So I'm thinking possibly this person just kind of didn't really realize how out of bounds it was. And it went out there, and this person has been fired from The Onion now, which is weird.
Well, speaking of being fired, so of course The Onion did issue an apology, because this is America in 2013, and everyone has to apologize for something. So let's take a look at the apology itself. Dear readers, on behalf of The Onion, I offer my personal apology to
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino Wallis and the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences for the tweet that was circulated last night during the Oscars. It was crude and offensive, not to mention inconsistent with The Onion's commitment to parody and satire, however biting. No person should ever be subjected to such a senseless, humorless comment masquerading as satire. The tweet was taken down within an hour of publication. We have instituted new and tighter Twitter procedures to ensure that this kind of mistake does not occur again, et cetera, et cetera. And this is from The Onion CEO, Steve Hanna. The interesting word here that I think we should focus on is the word mistake. Because had the reaction been different, well, no one would have thought this was a mistake, and that's the fine line that comedians have to play on. How do you deal with that? When you're writing jokes and you're on stage, how do you deal with that?
Well, I don't use the C word. I kind of reel that in.
Yeah.
So many times where I'm like, that would be the best punchline. And then I'm like, no, I got to rewrite that so I can still have a career. But yeah, I mean, honest to God, I think it went too far. They apologized. In my book, I'm like, the guy or woman, I'm assuming it's a guy, doesn't need to be fired. It's so ridiculous. Like, all right, it was a bad call. You take it down, you apologize, you move on. Like, the fact that it's still going on, just wrap it up.
Isn't
you know what I mean?
funny, though? We're all assuming that it's a man, right?
Yeah.
And what if it was a woman?
Because it could have been, because, women have opinions about other women, and especially women who are, considered bitchy and the C word. But one thing I know that my dad did say about this is that the comedian's job is to find the edge and cross it. That is their job. And they did find an edge, and they crossed it last night. Okay, great. Now we know where that edge is. But then again, going after a 9-year-old child, that's an edge that I'm not quite sure you even want to approach.
You could have like maybe bitchy, I don't know, like snotty, pain. Like there's, you could have tried the joke in another way as well.
I think he's gonna have to apologize for that letter. He said tighter Twitter in their controls, and tighter. Didn't he say that?
It sounds like something that you might have to apologize.
I think he's going to have to apologize for that beautiful letter of apology.
And don't forget, Bonobos.com is the official outfitter of the Rubin Report. Enter code Rubin Report for 20% off your first purchase.